So, this week in neurodiversity news, girls have autism, Scotland has waiting lists, and Alton Towers has decided that sensory overload isn't a real disability. Splendid. Right, the big story, and by big I mean scientifically significant, yet somehow unsurprising to literally anybody, that the autism gender gap has essentially closed. A Swedish study tracking 2.7 million people found that by age 20, the male to female diagnosis ratio drops to just 1.2 to 1. So the famous 4 to 1 ratio we've been quoting, turns out that's just childhood. Girls get diagnosed later because they're better at masking, eye contact, following social rules, basically pretending to be neurotypical, until at least adolescence when it becomes unsustainable and finally somebody notices. Meanwhile, in Scotland, 42,000 children are waiting for an ADHD and autism assessment, some for over 6 years. The government has pledged 3.4 million to fix it, which works out at about £81 per child. I'm fairly certain that you can't get a proper autism assessment for the price of a decent steak. And Alton Towers, in a stroke of absolute genius, has announced that autism, ADHD, and anxiety no longer qualify for their disability access pass. Only physical needs count now. Standing difficulties, urgent toilet requirements, the real disabilities, because autism is apparently just a lifestyle choice. Their solution? Sensory rooms and one free companion ticket. So after your autistic child has had a meltdown in a 90-minute queue, surrounded by screaming children and strobe lights, you can retreat to a quiet room to recover. It's a bit like setting someone's house on fire and then offering them a nice cup of tea. The good news, I suppose, is that we're having these conversations. The Swedish study is massive and rigorous. Scottish Parliament is actually acknowledging there is a crisis, and Merlin's getting absolutely slaughtered in the press, which suggests that there is at least some collective sense of what's fair.